So next we are going to look at time and work after direct and inverse variation. So these are basically word problems that would be linked to what happens in a real scenario, and we will be using direct and inverse variation in the solution of these. So let's get started. So while solving these questions, we have some pointers that we need to think about and we need to keep that in mind. So let me point those out for you. So the first pointer to note is 1 day's work is equal to 1 by number of days to complete the work, or we can say that the 1 day's work is inversely proportional to the number of days that is needed to complete the work. The second part is the inverse of what we just said. So number of days needed to complete the work is equal to 1 by 1 days of work, or inverse of it. Next, the time required to do a certain work is calculated by dividing the total work that needs to be done, divided by 1 days of work. And then when we need to divide the amount that has been received by the total group of people, calculate that in proportion of the proportion of work done by each and every individual in the combined group. So using these key points or rule of thumbs, let's try and work out some questions that might be very useful during your exams. So in this question, it says that A can complete 2/3 of a piece of work in 12 hours and B can complete 1/6 of the same work in 15 hours. And we have to calculate how many hours of both working together can complete the work. Okay, so let's first calculate how long does it take for A to complete the entire piece of work. So it says that A can complete the work in one fifth of the work in 12 hours. So A's 1 hour of work is calculated as 1/12 of 1 by 5. And that comes out to be 1 by 12 into 1 by 5, which is equal to 1 by 68. Now let's calculate what 1 hour of work is done by B. So we know that B can complete 1/6 of the same work in 15 hours. So B's 1 hour of work is 1 by 15 of 1 by 6. That comes out to be 1 by 15 into 1 by 6, which is 1 by 19. So let's now calculate what 1 hour of both combined and A's and B's work is. 1 by 60 plus 1 by 90. And this is calculated as 1 by 36. So if 1 hours of work for A and B together is 1 by 36, the inverse would be the number of hours that is needed for A and B to work together to complete the work. So when A and B work together, they can complete the entire work in 36 hours. Let's move on to a more challenging question. So this question is a step further because we will be looking at remuneration of the money that has been earned. So A, B, and C are working separately and they can do the work in 2, 3, and 4 days respectively. And if they together they together do the whole work and earn rupees 3,900, how should we divide the money amongst them? So let's first calculate one days of work for each of the candidate. So for A it's 1 by 2, for B is 1 by 3, and for C is 1 by 4. So the money should be divided in the ratio of 1 is to 2 is 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4. We can convert this into normal numbers other than the fraction. Let's just do that. So for this we need to take the LCM of 2, 3, 4, and that comes out to be 12. So we'll multiply each of these by 12 to get some whole numbers. So you should remember that multiplying a number, each of the ratios does not change the ratio at all. And this comes out to be 6 is to 4 is to 3. And that's how we should divide the total 3,900 rupees among these three people. So A's share, let's calculate, would be 6 by 6 plus 4 plus 3, that is 13, into 3,900. This comes out to be rupees 1,800. Let's calculate B's share. That's 4 divided by 13 into 3,900. And this comes out to be rupees 1,200. And C's share should be 3 divided by 13 into 3,900, which comes out to be rupees 900. So that's how we share the whole price or whole earning of 3,900 rupees into A's, B's, and C's share. Let's move on to another question. So in this question, we have A can do a work in 10 days and B can do the work in 15 days. And they work together for 4 days and then A left the work. So in how many days can B finish the remaining work? And if the remuneration of the work is 1,000 rupees, how much amount would each get? So let's get started. So for any of these kinds of questions, we'll first start with what everyone can do in 1 day of work. So let's start. A's 1 day of work is 1 by 10 and B's 1 day of work is 1 by 15. So A and B together can do in 1 day 1 by 10 plus 1 by 15. That comes out to be 1 by 6. So now, following the narrative that has been given in the question, they work for 2 days, for 4 days. So let's see how much work has already been done in 4 days together. And that would be 4 into 1 by 6. And 1 by 6 is 1 day of work. So that is 2/3. So remaining work would be 1 minus 2 by 3. And that is 1/3 of the work that is still left. So now, following the narrative, B has to finish this remaining work. So now we need to calculate how many number of days will B take to complete the remaining of the work. So we'll follow the rule of thumb here, and that would be work to be done divided by B's 1 day of work. We know that both the values are given previously. So work to be done is 1 by 3, and B's 1 day of work is 1 by 15. We solve that to get 15 by 3 or 5. So B will take 5 days to complete the work. Now we need to calculate how much out of the 1000 rupees both will get according to the work they have done. So let's first calculate A's share of work. So A has done 4 days of work. So let's calculate the amount of work that he has already done. That is 4 into 1 day of work, that is 1 by 10. And that comes out to be 2 by 5. So that's the work that he has done. And we will pay him accordingly to the share of work he has done. And that is 2/5 of 1000 rupees. And this comes out to be rupees 400. Now let's calculate B's share of money, and that is total minus A's share. And this comes out to be 1000 minus 400, and that is rupees 600. And that's how we complete this question. I hope you're understanding questions where one person leaves and then the other person has to do the remaining of the work. And we are also understanding how to calculate the amount of money that each person has to be paid depending on how much work they have done. Similarly, let's look at this question, which makes this a bit more clearer. So now we have this question where we have been given how everyone can do their work together and how much time does it take. So A and B together can do a piece of work for 20 days. B and C together do it in 15 days. And C and A together do it in 12 days. So how long does it, we have to find out how long will they take to finish the work working all together. And we also need to find out how long would each of them take to do the same work. So we need to understand what is being asked and what is being given. So we know A's 1 day work plus B's 1 day work, and that is 1 by 20. Similarly, for B and C's, we have 1 by 15. And for C's, together with A's, we have 1 by 12. So we'll add all these equations together to get, let me write that down a bit better. So we have C's plus A's, which is 1 by 12. We'll add all this together to get twice of A's work plus B's work plus C's 1 day work. And that gives us 1 by 20 plus 1 by 15 plus 1 by 12. And that comes out to be 12 by 60 or 1 by 5. So finally, A's, B's, and C's 1 day of work equal to 1 by 5 into 1 by 2, because the 2 comes from out here. And that gives us 1 by 10. Following the rule of thumb, we have if A, B, and C work together, they will finish the job in 10 days. So before we follow or complete the solution, let me put some numbers for the equations that we have. So for A's and B's work, this will be equation 1. For B's and C's one, this will be equation 2. And C's and A's work, this will be equation 3. And finally, A, B, and C's work would be equation 4. So now, if we have to calculate a single person's work, then these equations would be very useful. Let's first start with C's 1 day of work. This can be calculated by subtracting A and B's work from A, B, and C's work. We'll get C's 1 day of work. So that means we have to subtract equation 1 from equation 4. Let's write that down. And this gives us C's 1 day of work as 1 by 10 minus, what's the first one? 1 by 20. And that gives us 1 by 20. So C alone would take 20 days to complete it. Now let's calculate B's 1 day of work. So that will come out if we subtract A and C's work from A, B, and C's work. So we have to subtract equation 3 from equation 4. And we get B's work as 1 by 10 minus 1 by 12. And this comes out to be 1 by 60. So B would take 60 days to complete the work. Finally, let's do A's work. To calculate that, we need to subtract B's and C's work from ABC's work. So that means we have to subtract equation 2 from equation 4. And this comes out to be 1 by 10 minus 1 by 15. And that comes out to be 30. So A would take 30 days to complete this work. Finally, let's do a last question for this time and work chapter. This would be based on maps. And this is a very interesting and popular question to be asked in exams. So pay very close attention. So if you do feel that this question or any other question that we have previously seen or learned is difficult for you to understand, please go to the comment section and let me know. I'll try my best to explain to you this again in the comment section. And please do find the resources that I have put down in the description, which gives you access to this entire notes for free. So check that out. Coming back, we have two taps, A and B, and they can fill the tank in 4 and 6 hours respectively. And then there's a third tap at the bottom, which can empty the whole tank in 12 hours. So if we open these three taps together, when the tank is empty, we have to find out how long does it take for the tank to be full. So first we'll think about how each tap is affecting the tank in 1 hour. So A fills the tap, so tap A fills the tank. So this means that A's 1 hour of work is filling the tank, that is 1/4 of tank. For B, it's again filling the tank and it would take 1/6 of the tank. And for C, it empties the tank. So in 1 hour, that is 1/12 of tank. It empties every hour. So A fills 1/4 of tank every hour, B fills 1/6 of tank every hour, and C empties 1/12 of tank every hour. So let's see what happens at the end of 1 hour. So that would be 1/4 of A, 1/6 of B, and we'll minus 1/12 of C because that is emptying the tank. When we calculate this, we get 1/3 of the tank filled every hour. So in order to fill the complete tank, it will take 3 hours as a reciprocal of the 1 hour thing. And that's the end of our work on time. That's the end of our chapter on time and work. I hope you like the video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you and see you.